And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It is episode 52 of Hansons on Hiatus. I am your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And like I said, episode 52. So, I mean, that's a year, right?
That's a year.
It's our year anniversary.
Yay, felicidades.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the exact date was that we aired the first one, but I mean, 52 weeks isn't a year, right? Even though it's leap year this year, that's just an extra day, right?
Yeah,
so
I think just a day.
right.
We're good.
Yeah,
Yay,
so-
wow, a year.
Yeah, we've committed to it. We did one episode a week for a year, and it's, we've kind of morphed into, we were doing a lot of questions at first, and now it's just kind of like our lives,
Yeah.
whether we're in Mexico or Florida or wherever, and Vegas doing the Super Bowl. So it'll be a good, like, kind of diary, like a video vlog diary type of thing. Like when we're old, we'll be able to go and listen to these things that we might have not remembered off the top of our heads, but since we've gone in depth about all these stories, I think it'll be interesting.
I think it'll be cool. I'm excited to hear my voice when I'm 90, when I'm 40.
Yeah.
So, hello, future me.
Hello.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, hope you're having a good time still.
Yeah.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on.
All right. Well, and as usual, don't forget to support the podcast if you're able to. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy us some virtual beers. If you'd like to for our anniversary, I'm just throwing it out there, but
One year,
no pressure.
1 year, 1 beer. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But you had some thank yous you wanted to throw
Yes,
out.
I want to say thank you so much to Brian and Christina. Brian bought me 3 beers for my birthday, and Christina bought me 4 beers for my birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so very nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I probably drank them all.
Yes, especially this past weekend.
I feel it.
Yeah. And also don't forget to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all the other apps and everything. Subscribe, like, follow, share, tell some friends. We actually we got some new guy listening, from Aaron.
Yep,
from
Aaron Dunedin.
Yeah, in Dunedin. Where were we at? The House of Beers.
Yeah, 40,
Hob.
40 taps.
No, that's just the sign below it. It's just 40 taps. Yeah, but we're just bullshitting with him, and he's like,
nice guy.
yeah, so tell him about the podcast. He's like, oh, let me follow right now. So thank you very much, man. Appreciate you being a new listener.
Yes, let us know if you're coming to Mexico.
Yeah. Another funny thing we found out, and if you didn't listen to the past episode, we were in Tampa, Florida this past weekend for your birthday.
Yay.
Still
Yes.
Still going strong. 17 weeks in a row.
It was like 2 months of 40th birthday, but I guess you got to do it once. You only do it once.
Yeah, exactly. So we were in Tampa, and your mom, your dad lives there, your brother, my cousins. So that whole Tampa St. Pete area is good for us to go visit.
Got lots of fam there.
Yeah. And I had given you 4 choices of like a little mini vacay to go on to, because you did your girl thing, but you and I usually kind of do a little trip for your birthday.
Yeah, you were so sweet. You're like, I still want to take you to do something, even though you had, a week, 2 weeks with your girlfriend. So that was so nice to get away.
Yeah. So the options were Oaxaca, San Cristobal. Both of those are in Mexico. Then or an all-inclusive in Cozumel for the weekend, or a trip to Tampa to go see a concert and, see the fam and the beer fests and all that stuff.
Which I still laugh at, because it's like,
Yeah.
you think most people would pick any other of the options besides
I probably
wanna go
would.
to Tampa. Like, I could have done something different, but it really worked out nice, because I've always wanted to go to a concert on my birthday, and you found that out. That was perfect. And then I wanted to see my family in March, so that,
Yeah.
So
it was a really good trip,
Yeah.
actually. Nothing went wrong. Everything just kind of like the stars aligned.
Yeah.
But
Flights
speaking,
were easy.
yeah. But speaking of when we were there, we were looking at our kind of memories on Facebook, like the time hops and everything.
Mhm.
And we had met officially, I think, in June of 2012.
Yes, correct.
And your birthday is March 2nd.
Yeah.
So we saw where on our time hop things where we both were on March 2nd, and you were at, I think, Cleo's, right? In downtown Orlando.
Shocker.
And I was at, I don't even know what it's called. Oh no, it's the Kush. Kush, it's like the smoke shop.
Smoke shop,
And then
yeah.
they also have a little kind of hookah bar above it.
Of
but they're
course.
literally next to each other. So
Yeah.
for your birthday, we were literally at bars next to each other, and we weren't going to meet for another like couple months. So it was just kind of funny. We were so close and had no idea.
And then in Vegas too. So we were very close in March, and then in April we both went to Vegas. You went with Jason and the radio show, and then I went with my girlfriend. But we were literally a week apart. I think our trips like overlapped a little bit, but again, like each month, and then we finally met in June. So
it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So we'll run through some
silly.
stories from our your birthday celebration in Tampa.
Tampa celebration.
Yep. I'm sorry. I know you didn't want to bring this up, but
damn it.
We gave my dad a lot of shit for coming to Mexico and not bringing any underwear.
I'm not telling him directly. He can listen to the podcast.
Yeah. And you forgot them.
Yeah. So you said pack light. I mean, come on.
That's true. That's very light. So what happened? You just we were packing very light because we were just doing personal items.
Yeah, just
doing backpacks
and just that's it. And I thought I grabbed some, but I grabbed another like little like sleepy time bra, I guess. And I thought they were a couple pairs of underwear, like thongs or something, but they weren't.
Oh shit!
So I had extra shirts and no underwear besides the ones I had on. So we had to go shopping. Sad. Or did I do it on purpose, subconsciously?
I don't know. Yeah, because we had to go to TJ Maxx. And you got some underwear.
Yes.
Then you didn't like how those underwear felt. So then we went back to a different TJ Maxx, and they didn't have those same ones in a different size. So then you got some different ones. But then you didn't like those different ones. So we had to go back to the original TJ Maxx. So I think we went like 14 times in 6 days.
I think we went like 3 times.
Maybe. It felt like 14.
But then every time I'd go to look for underwear, and I would get something else, though. I'd be like, "Ooh, look at this tank top. Look at this skirt." And then so I had a lot in my backpack on the way home.
That's true. That's true. But
it happens.
No, totally. It's totally fine.
I'm going to have to apologize to your dad and say, sorry, I made fun of you for not packing underwear.
Yeah, I think you should. And then on the morning of your actual birthday on March 2nd, it was a Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
We decided to go for a walk. We're going for a walk every morning because it was kind of like here in the morning right now where it's been nice and cool for a little while.
Yeah, a little cooler. We're like, let's get up, get some like steps in before we sit and drink beer all day.
Yeah.
Again.
And we're walking down the street. We get to the end of the corner, and we see a peacock.
Yeah.
And now we used to live, and this is in Dunedin, Florida. Or I guess Clearwater kind of.
Yeah.
But when we used to live in Orlando, there was like neighborhoods downtown that had a couple peacocks that would roam around. So we kind of knew that they were in Florida.
Yeah,
just
but
wild.
You didn't see them a lot in Orlando at all.
This was like Jurassic Park. They were
really
just
was.
coming like over like this lawn, and it was like 30 of them. It felt like
30 of them. There was like 2 males with the big, colors and the big tails, and then like a bunch of females. They were just everywhere, and we're just like, they're just following us around.
Yeah.
But they were so nice, and they're loud. I didn't realize how loud they are.
No, we like followed them around for a while. So that was a cool like kind of birthday.
Yeah.
You always have like an animal for your like this is, or maybe not just animal, but
like a thing.
Yeah, this is the year of the butterfly or the year of the cactus.
I had the cactus.
Yeah,
And I went to
so
the Grand
maybe this is
Canyon.
the year of the peacock.
This is the year of the peacock, and then I found my little clippy thing.
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. Hold it up.
When I was buying said underpants, I bought this little clippy too, and it was right by the underwear, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this too.
It was meant to be.
It was an impulse buy.
Yeah. Well, and then the next really cool thing on your birthday was, like you said, there's never a concert or anything going on, and we were just planning on going downtown St. Pete and bouncing around a couple of different beer bars and breweries and have brunch and stuff like that down there. And I'm looking around, and I realized when I'm looking at these breweries, it's Tampa Beer Week. So there's like all these beer events going on, and the Florida Brewers Guild was throwing a beer fest on your birthday at this park.
Sign me up.
Yeah. And we hadn't been to a beer fest in
a few years.
Yeah, probably. I mean, before we, since we moved from Atlanta.
Yeah. So over 3 years.
Yeah. So about, 3 or more years.
Yeah.
So we got tickets to that.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was the best beer fest in a long time.
It was.
We had so much fun.
Yeah. There was tons of different, just all Florida breweries basically, and they had all this merch. That's like we were taking every koozie from every brewery. I got a new hat from Cigar City. We got a balloon or like a beach ball.
Yes.
What else do we got?
We got koozies from
Frisbee.
everyone.
Yeah. So those are great to bring back here and keep our beer cold.
Yes.
Tons of stickers and everything.
We took my brother and his girlfriend, and I think they had fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone can keep up with us at a beer fest.
I know. I forget. Well, and it's hot out, and they don't drink as much as us.
Yes.
So his girlfriend got a little yucky.
little spins.
Yeah,
little
which
spins.
understandable because that happened to my dad like
Yeah.
5 or no, maybe longer than that, like
Yeah.
8 years ago. We went to this beer fest and it was really hot.
With Steve.
And it was in, I don't know what park it was in.
Alpharetta or something, or is it downtown?
No, it was somewhere maybe in East Atlanta. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was in a park, and it was super hot out. And we get there and we just start hitting every tent, and we're drinking like stouts and IPAs and everything. And then my dad took a rip off of one of our pens.
Yeah.
And actually, Steve's pen.
Buddies.
Sorry, Steve.
Steve.
And all of a sudden, he just got the spins, and it
Yeah.
was just yakking in the trash can.
So scary.
Paramedics had to come over with the Pedialyte, and he was throwing that up. And
They're looking at us like, "What'd you do to him?" We're like, "We didn't do anything."
We didn't know if like we needed to take him to the hospital or anything because
Yeah.
we didn't think like he drank that much or whatever. But
Well,
it was the same.
it was the pen.
Yeah. Well, and it was the same thing with your brother's girlfriend.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't that I don't think she hit the pen or anything. It was just like
No.
I think it was just drinking all those heavy beers that in succession so
Oh,
quick right
yeah.
when we got there.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
It was just a lot, and they were pouring them full to the tippy top. It wasn't like little tasters. They were giving you a whole like big shot of beer.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was a good fest for sure.
It was a great.
Oh, I forgot to mention on the way over we ordered this Uber, and your brother's girlfriend ordered it,
Yes.
and we get there and he opened the door and it's that guy. You know, I'm not trying to be political, but it's
That guy.
that guy in Florida, older
guy.
guy wearing the American hat and the American shirt and the this and the don't tread on me and all
Lots
that.
of rules.
Yeah, and he's listening to some classic rock, and I'm like, all right, this guy's fine. We can deal with it. You get in the back, and there's all these rules on the back of the
So many rules.
The
like
chair.
laminated on the back of his chair, like
seat.
this. Don't speak to me about woke or this or that.
Yeah, it was like
or,
no woke conversation or something
or
like
I'll
that.
give my input.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god.
I was like, oh, great. So we're like, okay, we kind of have an idea who this guy is, you know, especially being in Florida. And so we were, going down the road, and you guys were I was sitting in the front, y'all were in the back,
Yeah.
and you were just on your phones, and I was on my phone, and I wasn't even really paying attention. He goes, hey, do you mind if I change this to a podcast? I'm like, no, that's fine. And then I was like, I messaged you guys, and I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it. And I was like, what is it? I was like, incoming Tucker Carlson podcast or something, is like.
Some like crazy political whatever podcast going on.
And it wasn't that, but it was something that, that's all it was. And we're like, oh God. But I didn't want to ask him or tell him to change it because I just said it was okay.
Yeah.
So you threw the birthday girl card down.
You did. Well, you texted me and you were like, it's your birthday. I think you should say something. And I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to get kicked out. We're going to get left on the side of the street or something. So I was really polite. I was like, excuse me, it's my birthday. Could you put the music back on? And he was really nice about it, actually.
And he was a super nice guy. Whatever side you're on, putting on a political podcast as an Uber driver is a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Very bad idea. Any kind of podcast, because we're not into the podcast.
Well,
so,
and
doesn't
it's just
matter.
like starting an argument. Let's relax.
Why did you go from music to a political podcast?
Mhm.
Like, whatever. But he was really nice about it. And then my favorite part was he's like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll put some music on. He's like looking as he's driving. And then he's like, do you guys like Creed?
Oh, yeah.
All four of us look at each other like, sure, anything's better than that. He's like, oh, okay, I'll find something. Like, geez.
Yeah. So that was
Best
on your
Uber.
that was on your actual birthday, and then I think we went to dinner that night. Went to this sushi place called Pisces.
Yeah, that was so good. I love
Really
it.
good in Dunedin.
I love Dunedin.
Yeah, it's a really cool spot.
I wanted Greek food for my birthday, but then when we were out with my brother popping around the one day, boom, right in front of us as you were driving home, Pisces. I was like, why don't we eat here? And I'm so glad I changed it. It was great.
Yes,
It was
it
a
was.
wonderful time.
So, kind of one of the main reasons we went to Florida was I got you concert tickets
Yes.
to Parker McCollum.
Yes.
And this is a guy that he's not like new in country, but he's not, I mean, he hasn't been around for 20 years or
He's
anything.
new,
like
but
that.
he's not new.
He's a young guy.
Yeah, yeah. From
But
Texas.
yeah, so we just started playing his music a lot when Tiger was getting sick, and maybe some of you saw my post. And Tiger was having a hard time just relaxing, even though his hips hurt and everything like that, or he was having a hard time walking. He just couldn't sit down. So I don't know if he just couldn't get comfortable or whatever. And when you would put on Parker McCollum, it would get him to be able to like relax, and he would just sit there and kind of just. I just think his voice kind of chilled him out.
Yeah, he loved it. He used to do that to like John. I would listen to John Mayer a lot. Just anything I'd play a lot at home. I think he got used to it. So when I started playing that here, like similar things we were listening to in Atlanta. Here, I think it calmed him down a little more. He's like, "Oh, I know this."
Yeah, and it's like I love all the. It makes me happy, but there was this one song that's called "I Can't Breathe."
So sad.
And I just remember holding Tiger when he like couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
and that was a hard song to hear.
The whole concert,
but it
was
made
really
me think
hard.
about him, and so. It was kind of almost like closure, like kind of a bittersweet thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I really had a hard time listening to that. Like I couldn't listen to that song at all.
Yeah. It took me a while.
Because I remember just holding
again.
Tiger and just crying because I knew that he couldn't breathe, and the song was just really hitting for me. And I couldn't listen to that song, but when we saw it at the concert, like I can listen to it again.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird. Maybe I just got more of the happy memories now than the sad, but yeah, it was really crazy. But anyway, so that is why we were going, one of the reasons we're going to Florida to see a concert for your birthday, and the beer fest was by happenstance. And so
all I ever wanted.
Concert
on my birthday. Is that so hard to ask?
Right. Well, and this was at the Strawberry Festival. It's this kind of big fair festival that they have in Florida. Very similar to the Iowa State Fair.
Yeah, it's been going on for years.
Yeah, we had never been as long as we lived in Florida because it's about it's about an hour outside of Tampa.
Yeah, so
in Plant City. So it's a
little
little bit of
drive.
a little bit of a hike. And so we got what did we do earlier that day? We went to Hidden Springs Brewery.
Yep.
And
had mom for lunch. Had some beers.
Had some beers there, and so we each got one to-go beer because it was quite a drive. So we wanted to have a beer in the parking lot, a good one.
Yeah.
So we drive out there and we park in some guy's yard because that's what you do around the fairgrounds. You rent out your yard.
Yep.
And we drink our beer, and then we're walking in, and they have all these strawberries, just big bushels of them. They're selling
so good.
Food outside, and we see the Ferris wheel and everything, and we go.
A legit fair.
Yeah, it's a great fair. So we go in and we're like, all right, let's grab something to eat, and then we'll hit the beer tent and then go get our seats because we were like 30 minutes from start of the show.
Yes.
And we go and we're walking around and we see the Euro stand that looks exactly like the one at the Iowa State Fair. Like the photo.
Exactly. It's them. It's them.
Well,
it has to be them.
I don't know if it's actually them, like they travel around, or is it like Chinese food restaurants where there seems to be one company that prints out the pictures and just sells them to every fucking Chinese company ever or restaurant because they're all the same and they're all like always faded, like they've been there for 20 years.
Yes.
Like nobody's putting new ones up.
I love the picture Chinese. You're like, I want that.
Yeah. So you get that.
Yes.
And
get the Euro.
Yeah. Oh, and then go to the bathroom. And when I go to the bathroom, I notice there's a lot of kids with like one arm or like half an arm.
Oh.
And I'm trying to figure out and this is a little bit of a rural area. So I'm thinking, are these like kind of like mutant kids?
No.
Or are they like farm kids and they've all had like accidents?
Yeah.
Because I've never seen so many kids with like just missing a limb.
I think the latter.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
I probably would think
maybe
so
like
too.
farm, maybe just more adventurous kids living out there doing stuff,
Yeah.
Poor babies.
Yeah. So we go to the Euro stand and we get a Euro and it's delicious.
Delicious.
And
so good.
We ask the guy at the Euro stand, we say, hey, where's the closest like beer stand or the beer tent? We want to grab a beer before we go in. And
I'm waiting to see their giant beer tent. Like, what are we doing?
And he goes, oh, this is a dry fair. We're like, what? What do you mean a dry fair? Like we're in the fucking country in Florida. There's guys with cowboy boots and hats and belt buckles bigger than their heads.
Exactly.
Come on.
He's
Where's the beer?
With us. We're like, sir.
No, he's like, no, long as I can remember, this has been a dry fair. He's like, yeah, I never really thought about that. I was like, really? You didn't?
Oh my God.
So we're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
what do you mean?
Which you don't need a drink at the fair.
That's fine.
At a concert, but we're at a kind of a country fair, seeing a country artist. I want a fucking beer in my hand.
Yeah, it's my birthday. I could whatever. Let's just go with it. I don't need a drink at the fair. maybe a concert, it'll be fine. But like, it's my birthday. We want to party. We've been partying all day. You know, this is like why we're here. This is the big celebration. We want to drink.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out what's the closest place to us. Maybe there's a liquor store nearby or something. And then I was like, well, step one, we got to see if we can even get out of the fucking fair.
Yes.
Because if there's no re-entry, you're screwed.
We're done.
So we go to the entrance and I see the guy with the stamp and I'm like, okay,
Yes.
great. Because that's how the Iowa State Fair is also.
Yes.
You can get in and out.
And why do they stamp like your arm?
Yeah, it's like way up. I guess maybe because your hand, you touch it and you wash your hands and it washes off.
Yeah.
So that
it's
makes
like
sense.
all
I
up
guess.
my arm. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. So we get the stamp. We go out and I'm looking around and the show starts in like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're freaking
So like
out.
where the closest thing was a Walgreens. I'm like, all right, they'll at least have some beers there
Yeah.
or something. Or maybe they have a liquor section. I don't know because I don't know where the fuck we are.
Yeah.
And we walk 10 minutes over to this Walgreens and we go in and the beer is like ransacked. There's
Yeah.
nothing left. It's just like Heineken and then like one Busch Light or something
There's like
that.
one giant Stella
Yeah,
that we
that's
got.
what it was, yeah.
And then there's like random, 2 Budweisers, not even Bud Lights, some Busch Lights, and just randomness.
Yeah.
Nothing
So
good.
we asked the lady, like, hey, where's the next closest liquor store? It's too far for us to walk and get back in time.
Yeah.
She's like, but I think we have like wine and champagne and stuff. I was like, oh,
Boom.
brilliant.
Wine.
So we go over to the wine section and they have these 4 little baby bottles, those little packs of wine
the
bottles.
little cartons.
Yeah, and they were on sale. They're like $3.50. I was like, done. Got 2 of them.
Yep.
Got 8 bottles.
Yep, 8 beers.
8 beers. No, we did get a giant Stella, and then we
did.
got 8 bottles of wine. And I'm shoving them in my pants. So I got 4 bottles of wine in my pants. You got 4 in your pockets. Where were you hiding them?
In my denim jacket. It's I love women's denim jackets because the pockets on the outside, they have like extra ones on the inside. So I just shoved them in there and like pushed them behind my arms. It was like, hi.
Yeah. So we shove them in our pants and we go through security. We're good because, it's a small country fair. They're not like checking or anything
We
really.
look in her bag like, bye.
Yeah, so we go to our seat, like we beeline for our seats. The concert's just starting, and we're in the 10th row, right in the middle. So I got good seats for your birthday. So
I love it.
We're
Thank you so
we're
much.
right up there. So
Right
I'm
up
thinking
front.
this is like it has seats, but it's kind of like almost where the pit area would
Yeah.
be. And we get up there, and nobody is standing up. Nobody is dancing. Nobody is singing. It's like church.
Nobody's even like swaying, like jamming. There's a couple people, not like everybody, but everybody was just sitting there. Like, what are you doing? It was freaking me out. I knew you were like being a little more calm than me, but I was like, I can't do this whole concert like this.
It felt very weird, and we were trying to figure out like what's going on, and then thought about it. It's a dry fair.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking drunk.
Everybody's like, oh, this is great. But you think like you're still there at the concert. You love the music. So like you're not even going to like, move around a little bit. They were just sitting there like prim and proper.
Yep.
Just nothing's going on. There's a man performing in front of you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah.
I don't get it. But there were some people like so when we were sitting in our seats and I'm like I'm like getting antsy. Like I can't do this whole concert. I'm going to be that person. I'm looking around, there's like moms and dads all around me like 60s, 70s and I'm like, I'm going to be that person. Like we're hooting and hollering and I look down to the right and there's all these women standing up dancing. And then I look to my left and on the end of each like aisle, there were women standing up dancing. So I'm like, we're going there soon if people don't start moving. And then finally I don't know what the rule is, but like 3 songs in or a couple songs in, all like the younger teenagers kind of like ran up to the front.
Yeah.
And they just like knew they could run up there or something. I don't get it. It was like
You seem very shocked by this.
I
You've
just
told
don't-
the story like 5 times to people. Like I'm just saying like.
Do you want to talk about how many times you've told these stories? No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. But I just mean like.
Well,
I
it was
assume.
just like everyone knew like that you could go up. Like
Yeah,
I
but
would
we're
have
not-
done that if we knew.
I know. Well, we're in the front already, or like in the.
They were
the
too.
front
They were
section.
sitting
No,
beside us.
They were all behind us.
No, like the girls sitting
Oh, okay.
next to us
Well,
ran
I'm
up
just
there.
saying they're obviously fans of him. I'm sure it's a known thing because everybody knew that at this song you get to run up there or whatever.
But then at that time, everyone stood up. It was like you can't stand
Yeah.
up before the 3rd or 4th song. Like where are these concert rules? Did I miss the memo?
Got to
or-
follow him on Instagram, I guess.
I guess we did. Dry, sit down until the 3rd song, don't move. I
Yeah.
guess there's lots of rules at the Strawberry Fest.
Bring your Bible,
Yes.
and your child with one arm gets in free.
Yes. one arm gets a free ticket.
Yes.
Poor guys.
But it was a great concert.
It was awesome.
And it was nice because after the concert, the fair was still open, so we could go do things. So we went and, rode. No, we ride a ride? No, we just ate some more food and played some games and stuff and had a good time. But it was fun. It was a good time.
The rides did look awesome, though. We walked around. They looked like, not super sketchy. They look legit, like ones I've never seen. Super spinny rides that I'm not. No.
Yeah, like not happening.
Not doing it.
So I'm sad we've missed out on that for 10 years because that was a pretty fun fair. Actually,
it was. I bet they have. Like, he's a big name. He's probably going to be touring and playing in bigger places. So that was great. We got to see him in such an intimate arena.
Totally. It was great. Let's see what else do I got in here. Just two more things from your birthday celebration. We rented an electric car when we were there because it was the cheapest from the rental place. Totally recommend that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was great. We drove around for 6 days and used like 3/4 of a tank battery. I guess. Battery. I guess.
It was like a Chevy Bolt.
Yeah.
Chevy Bolt.
Yeah. And then when we had to charge it up before we left, before we returned it, so we just parked it at this public lot that had a EV charger. Plugged that in and just walked around, hit some breweries, and then came back, charged the car's all charged up, and took it back.
It's great. It's so quiet. It was like creepy quiet.
Yeah.
The car.
Another thing, this is random, but I learned this from my cousin's wife, Bobby. She was telling us about this cat.
Yeah.
They have like 5 cats.
Yeah.
And one of them was just like one that it was I guess a stray or quote unquote stray. I don't know if it like lived somewhere and they just let it out or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would come around to her house and she would always feed it. And she took it in to get, I don't know if she got it like shots or got it
she
neutered.
got it neutered and all the things.
All those things. But still, I let it be like an outside cat or whatever. And one of the things they did at the vet there was like clip a little part of its ear.
Like
and the tip of it. And I guess that's to let the I don't know what they call animal control or dog pound or whatever. In Florida, it lets people know that this is somebody's cat. But it's just an outside cat, and it's already been neutered or spayed or whatever, so that they don't take it and put it in the pound or something.
Yeah.
So I was like,
that's
that's
so smart.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Must be a universal thing.
Yeah.
A Florida thing.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so that was pretty much it from the Tampa trip. Do you got anything else you remember that was
No, it was a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you to my brother and his girlfriend for letting us stay there for a week, and it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tickets, babe, and all the shenanigans.
Oh no, I had a great time. I'm glad everything pretty much just worked out great.
Yeah, it
the
did.
beer fest and the concert was awesome.
Weather was good.
Got to see all your family and my family.
Yep.
Yeah, weather was great. So good trip.
It was a good trip. One for the books.
And before we get out here, I had a couple other things I just wanted to get to from Vegas that I thought was funny or interesting that I had on my list from the Super Bowl trip.
I'm sure you got
one of them was so I went to one of the dispensaries when I was there because Vegas or Nevada is a legal state now, or recreational. And usually before you go in, you got to show your ID to like the security guard, and then you get checked in again when you get there. Then when you go to the counter, you get checked in again. And I went to this one and I forgot my my driver's license for some reason.
Oh,
but I think I had pulled it out for something else and I had left it on the dresser because I had to like take a picture of it for something, and I left it. And I got in with my Mexican ID. She's like, we can only do this one time, but because I was like, will you take any other like photo ID, like anything that has my birth date and my photo? And they were like, all right, we can do this one time. So I got in with my green card.
Oh my God. They knew you weren't Mexican, right?
Yeah, no, I think so. And then what else do I got? Oh, I had an Uber driver to the brewery one time and in Vegas. And it was a minivan, and it was a guy like maybe a little bit younger than me, and he was talking to his mom on speakerphone over the whole fucking van.
Oh.
And he's telling the
That's
story.
rude.
Yeah, and he's telling his mom. He's like, "Sorry, I'm talking to my mom. Is it okay?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not paying attention." But then I was paying attention.
Yeah.
Because he was saying that his girlfriend is saying that she needs to change some things because he is deathly afraid of knives. And he doesn't like it when she scrapes the dead skin off of her feet with a knife. And they had an in-depth conversation about this.
Is he fucking with you?
No,
that's gross.
I heard him talking to his mom. I recorded it, but it didn't turn out. I was going to play it, but
what a thing to talk about your mom while you have an Uber rider in your car. Like, are you kidding me? That's so weird.
So it sounded like his girlfriend was saying he's a pussy because he's afraid of knives. But he goes, you know, Mom, you know, like how I'm deathly afraid of knives, and she goes, I do now. Like,
Oh my
like she
God.
hadn't, like, she's, what are you talking about or whatever? He's like, well, she has this like skin buildup on her feet, and she like scrapes it off with like a butter knife, and she's like, that the knife it makes me think that she's gonna slice her foot off or something, and I can't be around knives. I can't even be around pocket knives.
Oh
and
my
stuff like
God,
that.
what a weirdo.
Yeah,
Both
super,
of them are weirdo.
super weird to have this conversation.
Get her one of those foot scrubby things. Problem solved.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. That was very odd.
And how rude of his girlfriend to have knives in the house when he's deathly afraid of
Right.
knives.
At least put some of those rubber tips on him. Or
Right? I mean, come on. That's weird.
Let's see what else I got here. Oh, this was the last night I was at my hotel, casino, and brewery.
Motel Holiday Inn?
Yep. At the Ellis Island Hotel, and I was at the beer garden. And so I was like, I'm going to go have one more beer because I was leaving the next morning. I go down and sit at the bar. And I was by myself. This is after the Super Bowl, so everybody's gone. I was just staying at this hotel one night, so I was close to the airport. And I sit down at the bar, and they have those video blackjack games.
Oh, nice.
And I wasn't really paying attention. And then I ordered a beer, and I'm sitting there drinking, and I look down, and I see that it says it has 26 credits on it.
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I can play a little bit. And so I'm playing, and, I'm losing a little bit, and I'm gaining a little bit, and I'm losing a little bit. And then I started hitting. I was like, doing really well. And I got up to like $51 or something, or 51 credits.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder how much these credits are. Because I'm just assuming this is like a nickel thing or something like that. No, they were dollars.
Oh.
So somebody had left $26 in there.
What?
I won it up to 51, so I cashed it out, and I went and got a steak dinner at the restaurant at the hotel for free.
Very nice.
Yeah, so
they must have been drunk.
Yeah, right. But who leaves $26 in the?
Maybe that's like
credit.
their unlucky number or something. They're like, can't go past 26.
Yeah. Well, at first, when I thought it was just like 26 cents or nickels or whatever, I just thought, oh, maybe that's what the bartender does to get you to sit down and stay there and play or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're putting $26 in there.
No, I would hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
And let's see. So I'd gone to a brewery, and I was walking back to take the monorail back because there's a monorail in Las Vegas now.
Okay. Very nice.
And I see this dispensary, and I look it up online, and they have a really good deal on gummies, but it's going to take too long to like order it and have to wait for them to make the order.
Right.
So like, I'll just go inside. So I have like this real skinny backpack that I just keep like my recording equipment in sometimes. So I was wearing that. And then I had a plastic bag of a 4-pack of beer that I got at the brewery.
Yeah.
And I go in the dispensary, and the security guard goes, ID, and then looks down and goes, is that alcohol in there? And I was like, yeah, but it's closed, like it's in a 4-pack with the toppers on and everything like that. And nope, no alcohol, no firearms in here.
Oh.
And I was like, all right. Yeah, I was like, that makes sense. But I was like, come on. I was like, it's not open. I was like, can I just leave it here with you?
You're not drinking it. It's
No,
closed.
exactly.
Like you went shopping and bought like a soda or something.
Yeah. So she didn't care. So I was like, can I leave it here with you? And I was like looking around to hide it somewhere. And she was like, you can't leave it with me. I can't be held responsible for that. And if you hide it around here, there's a lot of homeless dudes, and they're going to drink your beer.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. I was
Thank
like,
you.
all right. So I'm like, all right, I'll be back. So I go, and I'm walking behind the building, and I'm looking for a place to hide it, and walking all around. I'm like, oh, there's nowhere. So, so I I open one. I was like, oh, I'm drink one of them at least. So I opened one of them. I could fit the other 3 in my skinny backpack. So I chug about half of them. These are like 9.5% IPAs. And I put it on top of the dumpster, like half full still, and then the plastic bag that it came in, and I put the other 3 in my backpack.
Yeah.
Go back over to the thing, and the security guard's inside at the desk. I open the door, acted like she had never seen me before. And she's like, all right, ID? And I give her ID, and then she sees my backpack straps, and she goes, I'll take your backpack. And I'm like, okay, because it has the 3 beers in there, and I'm handing it over to her, and I have it in midair, like handing it to her, and she goes, oh, that little thing, you can wear that in, that's fine. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Did she not see the bulging 3 beers inside there?
No, I mean, they were on top of each other, so it still looked thin.
Very
but
thin. Nice.
Yeah, just perfect. So I go in, and I talk to the guy, and he recognizes my cell phone number, like the area code. He's like, are you from Orlando? And I was like, yeah, I went to UCF, and he did too. So we started bullshit about that. And I asked him for the deal I saw online. And he goes, oh, we don't have that. And I was like, well, it's on your website. And he goes, oh, I guess we do then.
Oh.
So he gives me the deal.
Didn't we just bond, sir? And he's like, no, we don't have that.
Yeah. So get the stuff. I go back outside to go. I was like, I'm going to go get that other half of that beer.
Oh, my God.
And I go out, and the beer had been moved like 6 inches.
Oh.
So I'm
you
like,
sure?
yeah. So I'm like, either it was real windy or a homeless guy came up and like shook it or tried it or something like that. And I was like, fuck it. So I drank it anyway. So I might have been
like a bag around it, right?
No, it was just straight up beer can.
Oh, great.
I had a plastic bag with it, but it was just sitting on top of it. So anyway, that worked out good. But,
haven't you been sick for a few weeks? Just
get that homeless cup.
Gross.
And then the last thing, when I had a huge fucking conundrum coming back from Las Vegas because I had a layover in Dallas. So we're sitting there on the like in the plane, like on the runway, or not on the runway, but like at the gate, and we're not leaving right away. And so this guy comes on the overhead speaker and goes, "Yeah, the pilot didn't show up at the hotel. We're trying to find him, but if we don't find him, I'll go ahead and fly the plane." Oh. And I'm thinking this is like a Southwest, like jokey kind of thing. Uh-huh. And nothing happens. Oh. And we're like, okay.
Nobody's laughing?
And then maybe like 10 minutes later, comes back on and he goes, "All right, so it looks like I'll be your pilot today," and and goes through the whole spiel. So what? I don't know if he's like the co-pilot.
Is he certified?
Or what, but I was just like, that's a weird thing to say. Like, we can't find the pilot.
Can't find the pilot. I hand out your snacks, but I'm just going to jump on board.
Yeah. And so that happened. And my layover in Dallas was 30 minutes. And since we were late, I was worried we weren't going to make it to that next plane. Yeah. And that next plane was also late. So we ended up having an hour. So I'm like, okay, they'll definitely get my bag from the one to the other. Yeah. You know, whatever. So get on the plane, fly to Dallas, or fly from Dallas to Cancun. Yep. And I get there and I'm looking for my bag. And it's not there. Oh, man. And I go talk to the Spirit people, and they say, "Well, your bag is not here. There's not another flight tonight or today. But the good news is we know where your bag is. They've already called it in and said, yes, it's here. Yay. We just couldn't get it on the next plane in time." Yes. So I was like, oh, God.
Okay.
So, yeah. And
did you believe them? You're like, are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, it made sense because the layover was so short, even though I felt like they could have got it on there because it was delayed.
It was delayed. Why didn't they throw them on there?
I don't know. Yeah. So while I'm going into customs, I never do this. I never buy my bus ticket ahead of time.
I know.
But this one time I was like, all right, I'm going to buy it. I was like, I'm going to get through here quick. I'm by myself. This should not be an issue. And of course, they lost my bag. So I was sitting there for a while. So I missed the bus that I was supposed to get. Oh, and then also my plane was late. So that didn't help.
You never do that. And you asked me, and I was like, yeah, you're like 2:40 or 3, but we never do that. And we're always out there waiting forever. So exactly. In my defense, I wanted you home quicker, but then Spirit had other plans.
No, totally. Well, so I go, and we've never done that before, missed our bus ticket, because this isn't like the ferry to Cozumel where you can buy a ticket and go at any time. Yeah, this is like this time at this, like you have a seat on the bus, like a specific seat. So I'm thinking, it's going to be a hassle to reschedule it because nothing's easy in Mexico. Yeah. But we've never done that before. Yeah. So I'm like looking up on the website, and you can't do that. But what they will do is refund, or they'll let you buy another ticket for the next bus for 50% off. So instead of $12, it's like $6.
Why can't they just move your spot? Like, just
because
a ticket.
It's just like airlines, because you took up that seat, so they're out the money that somebody else might have bought that seat or whatever.
No one was buying that seat.
No, probably not.
They're never all the way full.
So I go to the ticket counter when I get there, and I say, hey, I need to move my seat, whatever. Or I need to move the time of the bus that I'm taking because I missed it because my flight was delayed. And he goes, it's not possible. You have to buy a new one.
No es posible.
And I go, well, it says if I get here within an hour of my previous bus, on your website, it says I can buy the next one for 50% off. And he goes, 125 pesos, please. It'll be here in 5 minutes. So he didn't even argue with me. So that was an option. They just don't tell you that. Yeah. So luckily I read the website and I knew what was going on. So he didn't, he was like, that's not possible. And then he's like, okay, 125 pesos. Like he knew.
This is why people get mad.
Yeah.
It's like, stop messing with the tourists.
Exactly. But the question I had for you, and I'll wrap this up and we'll wrap this episode up. So the next day is when my bag came in, and to be fair, Spirit was great. They gave me like a tracker, and it said, your bag is in Cancun. It's on the way. I'm talking to all these different people that are driving it down because the Cancun airport is like 45 minutes from Playa del Carmen.
Right.
So somebody brings it down here, and when he was driving it down, and to be fair, this is a third-party company that Spirit has hired to bring the bag down. It's like a transfer company.
Right.
We were asking, do you give him a tip? Like, because technically he is driving your bag 45 minutes each way. But on the other hand, this wouldn't be an issue if y'all didn't leave my fucking bag. So why do I have to tip this guy to bring my bag to me that y'all lost?
Exactly.
So I don't know. Like, what do you do? And then it's funny, after you and I talked about it a little bit, he sent a message like, if you're happy with your service, feel free to tip me. But, my first priority is getting your bag to you or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess that's him trying to ask for it. Which
that's a nice way to
totally
ask for
fine.
it. Why not?
And I did tip him. But then, like I said, I was thinking like, that's not why am I out more money? I already paid for a bag. Why do I have to pay for you to deliver my bag that y'all fucking lost?
Yeah. I will say, he was great at communicating. He was here on time when he said he would be, which is very rare for Mexico. He said 4:30. He was here at 4:30. It was great. So I don't know. And then I'd be worried to not tip him. And then, or what if you do tip him and then you get your bag in the house and there's stuff missing, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And
Spirit should tip him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not mad at this guy whatsoever.
No.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like Spirit should have tipped him, but they also are paying him, I'm sure,
Right.
or the company, but we don't know that. And that's a lot of stuff in Mexico. You don't know, is the server making a minimum wage, or, like they do in the US, and then you get tips? Or are they making, it's like some people make nothing and they only work on tips.
Right.
So same with this guy. Like, I don't want to stiff him if they're not paying him anything and the company is making money or something,
We decided to just put the good karma out there.
Yeah.
You got your bag back. Everything was in there. So we said, you take the tip and we'll just pay it forward.
But Spirit did send me a thing saying that, like, if I had to buy anything like toiletries or, whatever, that they would reimburse me.
Ooh.
I think I might submit the tip to the reimbursement.
Be like, I tipped your
I
driver.
think y'all motherfuckers need a tipping.
Yes.
So.
Actually, just put like driver toothbrush or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of here. It has been a great 1 year.
Yes. It's been a great 1 year.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's been a hell of a 1 year.
Yes.
So don't forget to support the podcast. Buymeacoffee.com
Please.
buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on hiatus. If you feel inclined to buying us a beer, we really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it.
This week we are going to Tulum to watch our friend's dog.
Bali.
Yeah, Bali.
Yay.
And if you remember from last year, on this one of the first episodes is when we were watching their dog last year at their place in Tulum, and the house flooded, and Tiger and their dog Sky were running around crazy, like the house is filling up with water. So
the great flood of Tulum.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll have some great stories for next week.
I'm
Is what
sure.
I'm trying to say. I
Hopefully
guess.
no flooding.
Yes, yeah, and so also don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, Google Podcasts.
All the things. All the platforms.
So thank you so much for everybody that's been listening for the last year.
Thank you.
Tuning in whenever you can, sharing the podcast, everything. We appreciate it so much. Hope you guys have a great and safe rest of your weekend. Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.